Alright, we're going.
Well, welcome back to Multimedia Club Cast Part 2 for the day.
Not doing that. Hey, Charles.
Part 2 for the day. This segment is going to be TV and video games.
And not music.
And
I'm not doing this.
we've already recorded an hour and a half episode today, but this one's going to be a little more informal because Josh is not even by the mic.
I'm not doing this. Please.
And we're going to be doing TV and video games. Have you been playing any TV recently, Josh?
Colin, put the bass away. Forgot one note. Oh. This couch is way comfier than that wooden chair.
Speaking of Childish Gambino, I've been watching Atlanta recently. So
I'm not doing this.
So
I'm not here right now.
Have you seen Atlanta, Josh?
No, I'm not here right now.
Okay. Well, basically, it's about Troy from Community.
See, you might ask what happened in between those two, that episode that you just listened to this one, and what happened is Colin picked up his bass, and I said, I'm not doing that, and then he hit play or record or whatever the button says.
Yeah, it's very difficult to play the bass while sitting in this position, but I'm going to do it anyway. So,
I wish you would.
have you seen Atlanta? I can put the bass down if you want.
I would like that.
Want me to bring the mic over to you, or should
Oh,
I?
dude, that would actually be super comfy if we
Wanna
could
sit-
record
okay.
on the couch.
All right. Well, just gonna hold on.
Just make this sound absolutely awful.
Oh,
That's okay.
just gonna bring the mic over here.
Actually.
We're experimenting here. We're doing a little behind the scenes. I started the episode way before we were actually ready. Maybe that'll make this
I don't know
episode
why
a
you
little
did that.
a little more interesting. Just gotta move all this stuff here. There we go. Gotta put the mic down over here.
I'm gonna grab my list of things because I'm not ready either.
All
But I have
Okay.
a list.
right, we're 2 minutes in.
We're 2 minutes in. Good.
Almost 3.
That's what I like to hear.
This has been the best intro. So, seriously though, I have been watching Atlanta.
Yeah, what do you think about Atlanta?
Do you know much about
I hate
Donald?
that city, though.
You do?
I do.
Have you ever been there?
I have.
I've
Atlanta,
never
Georgia.
been there. Yeah.
It sucks. The traffic is the worst.
Yeah.
We spent an entire day trying to get through Atlanta's traffic.
So that's why you hate it?
Yeah.
I could say I hate Chicago for the same reason, because the only experience I've had in Chicago is just waiting in traffic.
There you go.
So
How's the show?
So Atlanta is honestly great. I love it a lot. I'm not done with the first season yet. I'm on episode 6 of 8.
Oh, dude, you know what we forgot?
What?
Emails.
Yeah, I guess we did. Do you want to do that quick before I continue talking about Atlanta?
That would probably be a good idea.
Sure. We should have put that in the first half of
We
this.
really should.
But, whatever.
So we got an email by Al Hayron, and he says, I'd love to hear your opinion about The Boss Baby. Whether you end up enjoying it or not, I think it would be very entertaining to hear you talk about it. Please watch it and feature it in the podcast. Thanks. P.S. Have you two watched Personal Shopper yet?
Not yet.
Do
You know what? We're pretty good about answering these requests, but Personal Shopper, I keep forgetting to watch it, and I sincerely apologize about it.
Agreed.
What's your excuse? The same thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where I'd find it.
Yeah.
We'll have to go like rent it or something.
I suppose.
Maybe next week.
Maybe.
Wow, that's optimistic.
Let's watch Boss Baby and Personal Shopper.
You want? We're gonna accept this. This is like a terroristic threat.
Terroristic threat. Watch
You
Boss
want us
Baby.
to watch Boss Baby?
I'd watch Boss Baby.
You'd watch Boss Baby?
Yeah, it's got my boy Alec Baldwin in it.
Oh God. You know, I kind of promised myself I'd avoid it. But now we've been requested to watch it. Should we?
I'm gonna watch Boss Baby and Hugo in like a double feature. I suggest you join me.
I'll join you for half. I'll watch Boss Baby. We'll watch Boss Baby all I
Okay,
on.
sounds
Tell
good.
you what, we'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. We'll tell you why or why not it should have been included in the Oscar nominations.
It was.
I know it was, but why or why not it should be.
Okay. That's just that broke my brain. That's just an oddly said sentence.
Gotcha. Yeah, I suppose it's about as weird as Gubblebum.
Couple bum.
But hey, you know, things happen.
Yep. Oh, tour. So
we gotta watch Boss Baby.
Yep.
Back to TV.
Back to Atlanta.
Sorry about that. Hey, wrong. Should have thrown you in that last part. But hey,
Yeah.
you're a loyal listener. You'll watch both, right?
Sure.
Maybe. He likes video games. He'll probably stay for this one.
Oh
actually.
yeah, for sure. But this is not video games. See, here's my thing about Atlanta. Do you know anything about Atlanta?
It's a city in Georgia.
Right, but the show is
Isn't it Glover?
Donald Glover. He wrote, created, and stars in the show.
Oh wow.
And he is honestly, I thought my fear was that Donald Glover would be my favorite thing about the show, and that I was like, oh, I hope the other actors can hold their own. But honestly, Donald Glover's character isn't even my favorite character in the show, because there's this guy called Darius, and he is without a doubt my favorite character in the show. He is just amazing.
What kind of show is this?
Okay, it's hard to explain. It's a comedy drama, I guess I would call it.
A crama.
It's a no.
Oh, I did it.
Why did that of all things get me?
I don't know.
Drama. Okay, fine. It's a what my dad used to call them is it's a dramedy.
That's a better term.
Better than drama. Oh, that's so stupid. Oh. Okay, so here's what I like about Atlanta.
Oh.
You think of a lot of comedies. The thing with a lot of comedies is they take place in a world in which the world itself is in on the joke. You know, it doesn't feel very real. It feels like just this comedy world where everything is built to be comedically entertaining, and there's no real stakes. There's no real consequences. You know, there's a lot of comedies like that. Mm-hmm. Atlanta is a comedy that takes place in the real world, and there are stakes and consequences and sometimes really horrible, disturbing, despicable things happen, because that's just life when you're a impoverished wannabe rapper, legally homeless guy trying to make his way in the urban ghetto areas of Atlanta, Georgia, and that's Donald Glover's character, and it's equal parts hilarious and kind of sobering and kind of depressing and kind of disturbing, and it's that dynamic where the world feels so real that makes the comedy more satisfying and makes the show way more engaging. And it's an incredibly real, incredibly dark show, but it's also very, very funny. And not really funny in like a Always Sunny way. It's kind of funny in like a much more dry, much more witty kind of way. And I really love it. I love the vibe. It even has this like fantastical, almost fairy tale-esque quality to it in certain scenes. There are certain scenes that like focus on just the little fantastical, like beautiful things you see in life that like our main character sees the world in like a different way, kind of. And it's very unique and interesting, and I I love it. I don't like most shows. Like I don't have a lot of patience for TV shows, but this is great. And the only reason I'm not watching it right now is because I have to record the podcast. So yeah, go check it out for sure. My only disclaimer about it is it's a very African American centric show. All the major characters are black, and anybody who's white is kind of portrayed as a scumbag. And that may be off-putting for certain people. I like shows that have that perspective to them because it's more interesting than your boring cookie-cutter white guy's story, you know? I like that kind of story. So that's my only disclaimer. Like, if that sounds like it would offend you, or if it sounds like that's not your thing, then it probably wouldn't be. So, other than that, it's a very, very good time.
All right. Well, sweet beans.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's about all the TV I've been watching recently. How about you talk about a show? Because there was actually an anime I wanted to mention, but I don't remember the name of it, so I have to look it up.
I have watched the first episode of the first season of Black Mirror.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
He has sex with a pig.
Yeah. Yep, that's that show.
I'm spoiling it because I don't know what else to say about that episode.
Yeah.
It's messed up.
Yeah, Black Mirror is very disturbing. When it's not being really messed up, it's being really sad.
I am on the edge of watching more because I don't know if I need to watch more of that.
To be fair, I think I did tell you it gets worse in the show. That like there are certain examples where it gets worse than that first episode, but for the most part, it's not as bad as the first episode.
Yeah,
most episodes are just interesting, basically.
Yeah. It better be because wow,
Yeah.
this was interesting, but it was messed up, and I don't know if I want to watch more of it. But you know, I'll probably end up watching more of it. I enjoyed bits of this, but most of it was just me kind of going like, wow, oh wow, oh gross, oh wow, oh
Yeah.
oh, and then it ended.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really weird.
Yeah.
But it's like, I like the first episode because it proposes this like interesting moral like conundrum. Like, if this is like what you have to do to like save your country, would you do it?
And didn't he do it for like an hour or two?
Yeah, that's the entire...
Is that mandatory?
I don't know. I don't remember, but like that's the entire premise of Black Mirror. It's like it's the Twilight Zone for the modern age. You know, it's often about technology, but it's often also about like moral conundrums, as the Twilight Zone is.
Was it that he just had to finish? Like, I don't know.
Must have been
that episode. It's messed up, man.
Yeah. There's a shot in that first episode where that's like the most powerful shot in the scene, where like everybody's rabid to see him do it because it sounds like such a funny, ridiculous situation, and they see him do it on screen, and there's this montage of like the reaction shots of people watching the screen, and you see everybody go from like this smile to they're just disturbed.
Yeah.
And everybody's just horrified at what they've made happen, you know? And it's like, this is cool. That's what like cemented my interest in the show, is the interesting like moral circumstances to these things. And I was like,
that's very interesting, but wow, that's a lot to sit through. Like, that was messed up.
Yeah. The whole show's kind of like that. It's hard to watch more than a couple episodes in one sitting, because it really gets to you.
That might be what I resort to, is just like one every now and then.
Yeah, that's basically how I've treated it. I've seen like 4 or 5 episodes, I think.
Yeah.
So
it's rough. Yeah. It was good. Like, if that was just a movie, like, I would have been like, wow, that was good. But to watch like multiple episodes of stuff like that would be rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, sounds good. And I've found the name of the anime I want to mention.
Oh.
There's an anime called Saga of Tanya the Evil, and it's just bizarre. It's okay. So basically, it's a military show. It opens on like a World War I era military battle, like just this shootout in the trenches. And then a group of wizards come by, and they end the battle by bombing the opposition. And they're led by a little girl who turns out to be the reincarnated form of a middle-aged businessman. And she is Tanya the Evil because she's this like little 14-year-old girl who's known for her wanton cruelty on the battlefield. But she's actually the mind of a middle-aged Japanese businessman trapped in the body of a little girl in World War I, where there are magic wizards.
Uh-huh.
It's the weirdest. I can't even. I've seen like 3 or 4 episodes of it. As always, I start with it. I haven't finished it because it's like I just can't with most shows. I don't have the attention span. But it's something else. I don't even know if it's good. There's some like fun action in it. Interesting concepts. I mean, for sure, it's super weird. The art style's really like bad sometimes. That's the only like major issue I have with it. Some characters look unbelievably stupid. But it's worth a shot. if what I've described sounds the least bit interesting to you, I mean, you probably get some sort of a kick out of it because it's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically it. That's all I have to say about it. And when it comes to TV, that's all I can really mention because obviously I don't watch a whole lot of TV. But you have a couple more to talk about, don't you?
Yeah, one more.
One more to talk about.
So, the reason why this week I actually have quite a bit to talk about is due to being horribly ill.
Yeah.
And when I'm horribly ill, what do? Well, I watch TV, I watch some movies, and I play video games. And I sleep.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Right.
So, the movie section was way bigger for me this time around than it was usually. And then as far as TVs go, like watching TV goes, I watched all 7 seasons of Parks and Recreation over the course of 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yes.
I can kind of join in on this discussion because I've seen a fair amount of the show, but I have not seen all of it. So
this is probably the 3rd time I've watched it all the way through.
I know you're a big fan of that show.
I'm a huge fan of that show.
Abe is too. A friend of ours, Abe. Oh, actually,
you know Abe.
You know Abe Anderson,
creator of Muffy.
Yeah, Muffy, which was a song of the week a little while ago.
Yeah.
But he's a big fan of the show too.
Let's keep talking about him because I like how it makes him nervous.
No,
he gets twitchy. It's funny.
As if he watches this show.
He does, but we could certainly show it to him.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I know he's a huge fan of it too, and I originally didn't want to watch it because I really liked The Office, and then I saw an episode of Parks and Recreation, and it was all based around Tom Haverford, which is played by Aziz Ansari, and I don't like him.
I don't either. I've considered watching Master of None, but I've avoided it just because I just don't like Aziz Ansari.
Yeah. He's just irritating. Every character that he's ever played in anything that I've seen has always just driven me kind of crazy. But Parks and Rec, he has an arc.
He can be fun.
He
can be funny in Parks and Rec. I think he's not the worst in that show. He's okay at times, but
and the two that are the worst are John Ralphio and his sister, who is actually the girl from Obvious Child, who I hate.
Jenny Slate.
Yes.
John Ralphio is like kind of supposed to be.
They're both supposed to be just the worst.
Yeah.
And that's the idea, so I can get over it. But the thing about Parks and Rec that really gets me every time, I've watched it so many times, it's the characters. I love all of them so much. I just want to watch more of them.
I was going to ask who's your favorite character, but for most people it's like no competition.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's Ron Swanson.
Yeah, Ron Swanson is just the mascot of that show.
The list goes Ron Swanson, Andy, and April.
Yeah, I totally
right
agree
down the
with
line.
Leslie has never been that likable of a character to me.
I liked her as soon as Ben came in.
I thought you were going to say Ben Kingsley. I don't know why.
No, but Ben Wyatt, who is played by, I don't even know the guy's real name.
Adam Scott?
Yeah, that sounds right. As soon as he comes in, Leslie actually becomes a super likable character when they start interacting.
When they flesh out her character, she's a little more likable. The whole idea, like, Leslie initially is just this kind of naive, idealistic Boy Scout, Girl Scout, I suppose, technically. And that's just the joke behind her character, but like they do flesh her out.
Yeah.
She gets more depth as the show goes on. I can see that.
Yeah,
but she's never been one of my like top favorite characters of the show, which is weird because she's kind of the main character.
Yeah. I mean, but that's like saying in The Office, the main character is Michael Scott, but everyone's favorite is Dwight. Right?
Right.
So that's not incredibly uncommon.
And like Ron Swanson's essentially just their attempt to like create another Dwight, and you know what? God damn it, it worked.
It's so good.
He's
such a better character than Dwight for me though. Like just seriously, I think the first bottle of alcohol I'm gonna buy when I turn 21 is gonna be Lagavulin 16, which is what Ron Swanson keeps in his desk all the time.
Have you read any of Nick Offerman's book?
Yes, I've read segments.
It's fantastic.
It's so good.
I love that man.
Yeah, I love this show. Like seriously, I finished the show and I turned around and I started watching it again.
Yeah.
Because that's how much I like the characters.
See, for me,
want to see more.
the show like that for me is Arrested Development. When I was a kid, I think I was homesick or something, and I like finished the last season of Arrested Development, and I just watched the first episode again after that, and I think I went a few episodes into the first season again because I was like, this is an amazing show.
Yeah. I run into problems like that whenever I watch shows or movies that I connect with the characters that much, and it feels like you've been on this huge journey with them. Lord of the Rings, where it's just like when it ends, you're like, well, what do I do now? I guess I started over.
I guess I watched The Hobbit.
No, you start the Fellowship again.
Yeah, right.
Oh, it's so nice to see these people again that you feel like you've connected with and been on this entire, journey of life with. You've watched, Ron Swanson be this kind of curmudgeon and slowly begin to become friends with everybody and actually enjoy their presence, and you see Leslie actually get a boyfriend and become a decent person and do with all this sort of stuff. And then the final season just wraps it up really, really nicely. It's my favorite show.
When I say I haven't seen all the episodes, I haven't seen the later seasons, basically.
Yeah.
I've seen the earlier seasons, but not the later ones.
Yeah,
because
so
I get distrustful of any major American comedy that goes on too long.
Yeah, that's understandable. But I really like it.
That's what I like about British comedy is there's several that like when they think they're out of ideas, they just quit.
Yeah.
Like, Graham Linehan, as far as I know, hasn't done a show that's gone beyond 3 seasons.
That's funny.
So, yeah.
They brought in Pete. Pete. Pete.
Like,
What's his name?
from Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
I don't know the dude's name, but he was also the Tick in that terrible Tick remake.
Yeah, he's in Parks and Rec eventually.
I didn't even know he was in that.
Yeah, he's in the
I
latest
like how
season.
I knew who you're talking about from the Pete.
Well, everyone knows Pete.
Oi, prick!
Oh, yeah.
Oh, now I want to watch Shaun of the Dead again. Great.
But yeah, he's in there. It's good.
That guy's funny.
He is.
I've
He's
seen him
really
in
good.
this one sketch comedy. I forget what it's called that he's in. He's really funny in it.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
He's been really good in everything I've seen him in.
Except for the Tick.
I haven't seen The Tick.
He just does a bad Patrick Warburton impression, basically. And I get the sense that that's just what they wanted out of him, so you can hardly blame him.
Did they even try to get Patrick Warburton?
I think they did. I think that was like a big petition to get Patrick Warburton back, but eventually they couldn't. And then the new Tick, the whole idea behind it was like they went like a darker route with it. Instead of it being like that goofy comedy like the live action one, they went more for the comic, which is dark. And it's just like, it's rated TV mature, I believe, and it's like bloody, violent. And I was like, I can't get into it. It's not my thing.
Fair enough. So yeah, I watched a lot of Parks and Rec, and I love it, and I started again, and I'm probably going to watch it again. Because it's just, the characters grab me, and they hold me, and they whisper sweet nothings into my ear.
Yeah, especially Ron Swanson.
Especially Ron Swanson. I love that man.
Anyway, enough gushing about Parks and Rec. Do you have any other TV to talk about?
Nope, that was it.
That's about it for me, too.
You can't watch too much other TV when you're watching all of Parks and Rec. It feels like cheating.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I've been playing Ratchet and Clank to get into video games.
Yeah, me too.
I beat it once, and then I actually went back and did the New Game Plus mode.
How's the New Game Plus mode?
Here's the interesting... Okay, the idea behind New Game Plus is typically to replay the game, but it's, like, more challenging, right? That's, like, typically the idea. Like, the enemies are tougher, and, like, it's a more... it's a harder experience.
What's that?
I had a stroke, sorry. It's a harder the second time around, correct? Mm-hmm. That is how it's supposed to work?
Usually.
The New Game Plus, which is called Challenge Mode in Ratchet and Clank, is way easier than the first time through. Because the weapons get so extreme and so overpowered that even making the enemies tougher, like, there's still no chance. They stand no chance, and it's extremely easy. So that's odd. It's the first time I've ever played a New Game Plus mode where it's, like, actually easier. But, I'm just addicted to the... Okay, here's the thing. I like the game, but there are 2 reasons for it. Because I'm nostalgic about Ratchet and Clank, and this is actually... I don't want to say a remake, but it's kind of a reimagining of the first game. There are several environments that are like almost identical to the first game. It's just it has a new story and like some new stuff in it, and new weapons and whatnot. But it's a reimagining of the first game in the series, which I had on PS2 and I played a lot of as a kid. And I love the Ratchet and Clank series. It's like a nostalgic guilty pleasure for me, I suppose. And I'm talking about the 2016 one, by the way. I don't think I specified, because it was just made free on PS4 for PlayStation Plus members. And the other thing I like about it, God, I'm all over the place with this thought. Every time I go on a tangent, I always get like sidetracked with like 10 other things. Have you noticed this about me? That's
just a tangent of a tangent of a
yeah,
tangent.
exactly. My point was, I am a fan of the Ratchet and Clank series. That's the one thing that like makes me enjoy it. And the other thing is, it does this thing where you're constantly getting upgrade points and you constantly upgrading things, and you're like expanding your arsenal, upgrading things, like leveling up. That's just has an addictive quality to me, and I love that kind of thing. And this game does that pretty well. However, On the second playthrough, and for the first playthrough, it's a fine game. Like, you get the sense that it's like a little dumbed down for kids because there are constant tooltips and you can't turn them off. That was kind of irritating to me. I was like, it's like the game's talking down to me. It's like the levels are designed so that what you have to do is like extremely obvious, but it still tells you every time.
And anything that's secrets is so easy to find that I've accidentally stumbled upon something that's supposed to be incredibly hard to find like 18 times.
Yeah, right. I do appreciate that the levels have secrets and that like you're encouraged to like explore to find them. But like it's like eventually it becomes so easy to find them.
Yeah.
It's either way too easy or way too convoluted to find them. I find like
there was
because
that
the
one
thing
in
is
cave.
the map is not helpful.
No,
the map does not help you one bit. So, and the map's actually pretty terrible. There's a lot of really bad things about this game, but for the most part, it was okay. But the real cracks in the game design start to show on your second playthrough, and it's not a great game. But I mean I liked it enough to play it again. So it's free right now. If you want like a fun collectathon like gun upgrading game, try it out. There's some fun weapons in it for sure. I mean the weapons are really interesting and imaginative. So
yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. It's okay.
I'm playing through it right now.
I get the sense it's kind of for kids because it's kind of a tie-in game to the new movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it's better. It's good. It's a decent entry in the series.
I don't know any of the other ones. The only reason I'm playing this is because it's something that I can kind of just zone out and.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like a background activity kind of game.
Yeah.
My favorite in the series, and I mean that slightly ironically, but also kind of not ironically, is Ratchet Deadlocked, which was a edgy, hardcore arena shooter in the Ratchet and Clank universe, which was so weird. But it had a fun multiplayer element, and it was fun.
All right. Cool.
Not many people remember that game, apparently, but Pepperidge Farm remembers. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any other games to talk about? I mean, I know you do. Yeah.
Also free this month.
Oh, yeah, Dark Souls 2.
No, Dark Souls 2 is on sale for like $5.
Oh, right. Demon Souls.
Demon Souls isn't on the PS4.
Well, it is now.
No.
Because it's free this month, right?
No.
Oh.
Stop.
Dark Souls Remastered on the Switch.
You better believe
it. This month for PlayStation Plus members, you get Ratchet and Clank and Dark Souls Remastered on the Switch.
But no, Bloodborne. Bloodborne's free.
Yes, it is. And I now own Bloodborne.
Yes.
And yet I still haven't played it.
I know. It still kind of makes me sad.
Did you die a little inside when I told you when I told you that I had beat Ratchet and Clank twice? Because
bit.
I took the time to play it again, this like solidly mediocre game. I took the time to play it again instead of playing Bloodborne.
Yeah, a little bit.
I didn't even realize that when I told you, but it just clicked in my mind.
A little bit.
I'm sorry.
I am playing Bloodborne more. The online community has had this fantastic resurgence of new players and old players coming together.
Well, is it mostly because of the fact that it's free now?
Oh, yeah.
So you get like a bunch of new people playing it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's this really cool resurgence of the community. So there's a lot more online stuff happening. And then on top of that, I am getting so close to getting that final trophy so that I can finally say I've 100% of Bloodborne. I have 2 more bosses in the Chalice Dungeons to go, and I'm done. Oh!
I'm conceivably close to 100%ing Ratchet and Clank. I totally could if I wanted to. But I probably won't. I don't think I want to spend that much time with it.
Uh-huh.
The only trophy that would be like annoying to get is there's a weapon called the Groovinator or something where it's like it makes all the enemies dance. And there's a trophy to get to have every enemy in the game dance, and to do that I would have to do a third playthrough. So I don't think I'm gonna do that.
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
That sounds awful. Oh yeah. No, but Bloodborne is my favorite game of all time. I'm really happy that there's more community around it now. And you know, I can't wait to finally say I've 100%ed it across the board, found every item, beaten every boss, completed that game inside and out.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Maybe I should play it.
Maybe you should.
I know what's gonna happen. I'm going to download it. I'm going to play it for 10 minutes. I'm going to get frustrated and never pick it up again.
You gotta get good.
I do.
Speaking of get good, there's gonna be a Dark Souls amiibo.
Oh, yeah.
For the Dark Souls remastered on the
Have you
Switch.
seen what it does?
I have seen what it does.
When you put it to the amiibo reader on the Switch, it automatically makes your character praise the sun.
Yeah.
Which is just the funniest thing in the world.
It's so dumb, and I'm so excited. And the dumbest part is, I don't have a Switch.
You're gonna get it anyway.
I'm not gonna be able to play it, and I'm going to buy this thing.
Yeah. Oh. You're right.
Oh my god. And when I finally do get a Switch, because I probably will eventually, I am going to get Dark Souls Remastered.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's not. It's totally within the world of reality that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I am so excited for the remastered. I am beyond happy that there's going to be a Praise the Sun amiibo.
Yeah.
It's so good. Oh, yeah. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Anything else you've played lately?
Yeah, I've been playing. I'm on my second playthrough of Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley gets like even better on the second playthrough because you like know what to do. The first, I floundered a lot in my first playthrough where I was just trying to figure out the game's mechanics. I feel like this super efficient, like, economical farmer on the second playthrough. You really fit the role and you know exactly what to do.
That's how I felt in Minecraft after a while. It's
yeah,
like,
right.
Finally, I know what I'm doing. I can set things up and get almost everything done in the first couple of days.
Stardew Valley, I'm like efficiently setting up my crops and like doing proper yields and like making the most profitable decisions on a day-to-day basis. And I've just started my second year and I've already got a wife. And it's like, it took me like 2 years to get a wife in the first playthrough because I didn't know what I was doing with the relationship thing.
Yeah, for as much as I've played Stardew Valley, I've hardly done anything. I ended up spending a lot of time in the dungeons.
Yeah.
Well,
see, here's the thing. I've learned that I've learned to make dungeon crawling profitable because if you want to make a crisp like $2,000 to $3,000 in a day and you don't feel like fishing, you can go to the dungeons level 80 to level 90 as many times as you need, and if you have the perk that gives you more ore per thing, you can come back with enough to smelt like 15, 20 gold bars maybe, if you're lucky. Probably more like 10 to 15 gold bars, and that yields you decent profit. So because gold becomes an abundant resource that you have so much with, you don't need to save it at a certain point.
I think the first time I played that game is that I ended up throwing everything into the sell box on accident.
Everything you had?
Everything I had.
Because you thought that was like a storage container?
I'm like, cool, they automatically give you a box? That's great. And then I woke up the next day and everything was gone. I'm like, what happened?
Can you throw your tools in there?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think you
but
can.
I threw you would seeds I got.
You'd be screwed if you threw your tools
in. It was bad.
There. Yeah. yeah. I don't think I made that mistake because he literally tells you what it's for in a line of dialogue.
Paying attention.
He's like, anything you don't want, put in this box because I'll sell it. I'll sell it for you and you'll get the profit.
Yeah. It was a disappointing day. I restarted.
Just the whole game.
Well,
Yeah, no.
there's
At that
no
point, you
reason
might
not
as
to.
well. Yeah.
I just started.
Yeah.
You can,
I actually restarted my game for the dumbest reason.
What did you do?
Well, it was twofold, but like, okay, so my character's called MC Ride, which is the lead singer of Death Grips, and I made him to look like MC Ride, and it's been a hilarious journey because whenever I get the fruit that gives you more star drop, I think it's called. Whenever you get the thing that gives you more energy, you know what I'm talking about?
I haven't played it that much.
Okay, well, you have to play a while before you get one of those. So every time when you enter in the character creation favorite thing or whatever, the reason it tells you to do that because when you get the star drop, it says your mind is filled with thoughts of blank, and it's your favorite thing. So that obviously that's very easily exploitable. The first playthrough, every time I got a star drop, it said your mind is filled with thoughts of pop punk, and since I'm MC Ride, it's your mind is filled with thoughts of yo.
Oh my god.
And
oh.
I don't know. I found it amusing. It's my character's MC Ride. My farm is the money store. And yeah, the reason I restarted, this was the story I started off with. The reason I restarted is when he came to the farm, I decided I didn't like the shade of blue that his pants were, so I restarted the game.
Oh my god!
Because you can actually change the color if you get to a certain level with the wizard. He gives you an ability to like change your appearance, but I was like, I don't want to wait that long. I want a slightly darker shade of blue pants.
Oh my god, Colin.
Because I was so picky about this character. I wanted him to be just perfect.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
The blue pants aren't dark enough.
Yeah.
Alright. Yo!
Yeah.
Oh, good.
But no, I'm loving the second playthrough. Stardew Valley is a masterpiece. Definitely check it out. I have it on the Switch now, which is why I've been doing a second playthrough. Yeah.
Cool.
That's mostly what I've been playing recently.
Oh, I have a few more.
Yeah, what do you have?
I played and I have now beaten Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, sweet.
Without the DLC.
Oh, right. Do you have the DLC?
No.
Okay.
I don't have 15
Check it out.
bucks
It's
to
super
drop
good.
right now.
Yeah. If it goes on sale or if you ever decide to get it, check it out. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I plan on it. It looks neat.
It improves the core game in a lot of ways. It adds a new skill tree, most of which improves the gameplay infinitely.
Good.
Yeah.
My biggest complaint with the game is that, like, I don't know. I think there should be more to do.
Yeah, after a while it feels a little empty.
Yeah.
Which is why I want them to do a sequel in which they use the same engine as the first game. They build a beautiful world, but like they put a lot of stuff to do in it. You know, because the game feels a little shallow and empty.
Yeah. There's sometimes climbing things doesn't feel great in this game. It feels very straight, like strict.
Yeah.
Like, okay, here to here to here to here. And that was kind of irritating. The combat, melee-wise, is very, very light. Light.
Yeah, melee-wise, yes. The depth of the combat comes with the ranged combat, but melee-wise is extremely...
bad.
I wouldn't say bad, it's just basic.
It's
you know?
so basic.
Well, you a Dark Souls guy, like... You know, it's like coming from Dark Souls. It's a little more basic than Dark Souls. It's not awful. It's just not very complicated.
Yeah. It was...
And I guess the combat in Dark Souls is somewhat basic, but the idea is like there's a lot more skill behind it, I suppose.
I don't know if I'd say basic. Not anymore.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like the way moves can combo into each other.
Right. Okay. I wouldn't know.
I suppose.
From what I've played Dark Souls, like the extent I've learned is like there's a light attack, there's a heavy attack, there's a dodge button. That's pretty much all I've utilized. So
okay, yeah, I guess, but there's more to it.
And it's like funny enough, the Horizon Zero Dawn combat kind of emulates Dark Souls in that regard, because there's a light attack, there's a heavy attack, and there's a dodge button, and it works similarly to Dark Souls.
Yeah, there's a multitude of moves though, that you can do, like jumping attacks, dodge attacks, create different attack moves, dual wielding or single wield.
I know there's
wielding.
There's like that special backstab thing you can do.
Yeah, like visceral attacks,
attack, yeah,
and backstabs and whatnot. But then that's the first game, and then in the second game they made it so you can dual wield things together, and you can dual wield like crazy things together.
Right.
And so that changed it up, and then in the third one they added what's called weapon arts for every weapon. So there's more going on, especially in the later games. And then talk about Bloodborne, every weapon is insane.
Yeah. So yeah, I know that much. It's a pretty crazy game.
Yeah. So, I mean, they definitely amped up what the weapons are and what they can do, especially later on. But yeah, it's good. I like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn, the ending happened, and I was like, oh, that's the end of the game, I guess. Okay. And then it starts you right back into the game. It's like, you can go do that last mission again if you want.
Yeah, it does the... it's funny, Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn both do this, and it's a thing that I wish games would not do, like open world games would not do, where you beat the last mission, and the only way in which you can continue in the world is to go back before you beat the last mission, which means that you're always going to be playing in a world in which the threat is still looming.
Now,
which bugs me.
You say that,
yeah,
but you remember the end of Crackdown,
yeah,
where once you beat everything, there's no enemies.
Oh, right.
So well, which would you rather have?
Well, see, with Crackdown, they give you an option to respawn all the enemies at any point.
I know, but say that once you've defeated the big bad guy, there are no more enemies.
Well, I would like a compromise. What I would like personally, and there are people who would probably disagree with me, I would like, for Breath of the Wild, I'll give this as an example. I would like the ending of Breath of the Wild to be like, don't get rid of the Guardians. Still have the Guardians in the world because, like long-term goals, you want to get materials from the Guardians to get a lot of stuff. So leave the Guardians in the world, but just make one change, and that is that you live in the world where you have defeated Calamity Ganon and the central Hyrule area isn't corrupted anymore. The only reason I say this is just because, like, exploring in Breath of the Wild, it's just like, I always feel like it's just looming over me that there's just this crazy corrupted central area that I'm scared to go near, just psychologically, because it looks so crazy. I would like a world in which, like, the Hyrule area is, like, just normal ruins with, like, enemies in it still, sure. But, like, I would just like to feel like I accomplished something, That's my main thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's maybe that's just me. I would also like Blood Moons to keep happening even if the game is like technically completed. I know like it's story-wise that actually wouldn't make sense because if Ganon's gone, the Blood Moons wouldn't keep happening, but you don't want enemies to be gone forever because, valuable materials and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I'd prefer it to happen. I'd like the ending to feel like it matters. You know what I mean?
And I've heard a big issue is that as soon as you've beaten the 4 divine bosses or the divine beasts and you've beaten Ganon, there isn't a crazy amount of endgame stuff. No. Like, there's the collectathon, there's the beating all of the dungeons.
Once you've beaten the main story, essentially, like, all that's left to do is just the little stuff that you haven't done. Yeah.
Which I've heard
unless you get the DLC. Like, when I got the DLC, I appreciated being able to do this whole new storyline. Like, that was nice. Mm-hmm. And the end of that's pretty cool and pretty satisfying. And you get a motorcycle as a reward. So that was fun. But without the DLC, yeah, the end game is pretty lackluster, especially since the Calamity Ganon fight's not that hard. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's not that difficult. Literally, the Divine Beast in the desert, that Thunderblight Ganon, that fight is definitely harder than the Calamity Ganon fight. Because Calamity Ganon doesn't have that movement thing where he has that like almost unescapable attack. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my ideal. That's my ideal situation with a game where like you Infamous Second Son did this decently. Like after you beat the game, you get to free roam in a world where it's evident that you've defeated the DUP head, but there's still DUP left because they didn't retreat. They're still there to like clean up the mess. And you just have to clear. Then you get to clear the DUP out of the city entirely, and then that's the real end game. I like that. And then like once you've cleared the entire city, there's nothing left to do. You might as well just restart the game. But in Breath of the Wild, you always feel like you haven't done everything, which you technically haven't, because you get teleported back before you did that mission.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Alright.
I just like satisfying conclusions and being able to admire your handiwork and being in a world where you have done this crazy feat, like Skyrim. Skyrim does that. There's no end game in Skyrim. It's just like you defeat the dragons, and everybody's like, "Oh, you defeated the dragon,"
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, all right.
Yeah, that's my little rant about, not rant, just constructive conversation about open world games.
Yeah. Speaking of open world games, let's talk about a few that aren't.
Okay.
Because I have two more.
Sounds good.
While I was sick, I figured I should probably get something to bide my time. And so I got two different games. Both were on sale for pretty cheap. One of them was Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Nice.
And one of them was Ink.
I think I know what that is.
Ink is a platformer where when you double jump, it sprays ink, and then that shows you your platforms if the ink lands on a platform.
Okay. I'm not really familiar with it. I think I know the name, but I don't...
It's okay.
Okay.
It
reminds me of Disney's epic... Or Mickey's epic... I don't remember what it's called. I thought I would think of it.
Okay.
The one where you play as Mickey Mouse and he's got a paintbrush. That one. It was on the Wii.
Okay. Never played it.
Okay.
But Ink is okay. The controls aren't the best, and that's the biggest problem. Like, it's worse than Super Meat Boy, because Super Meat Boy's controls are pretty tight. But these feel a little bit more floaty, which is unfortunate because platformers need good
tight controls. Yeah, I agree.
So that was kind of a disappointment, but I got it for like $1, so I'm not too bummed.
How's Resident Evil?
Resident Evil 7.
I'm too much of a wuss to play that game.
I beat it.
Really?
Yeah. I sat down, I played it, and I beat it within the course of like 3 days.
It looks way too intense for me.
It was pretty intense.
There are some games that I just can't do. The only reason that I played like halfway through the Layers of Fear is because you can't technically die in that game. That's the only reason. If there was an enemy out to kill you in that game, I would have dropped it immediately because I cannot handle that kind of stress. I even stopped Layers of Fear despite the fact that you can't die. Like, there's no consequences because the jump scares were getting so extreme that I was just like, ugh, I can't handle this. My poor heart.
We are going to have to record again eventually.
No.
You know that, right?
No.
Yeah.
Not Layers of Fear.
Yeah.
At least I've exposed myself to a fair amount of the jump scares so I can kind of handle it.
Well, and there's other games out, too.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that you have to play them necessarily, but...
Right. I just don't do well with horror games.
I know.
I really don't.
I know.
Except for like a handful of exceptions. Like, I mean, it depends if you can consider Inside a horror game. Yeah, I consider Inside a horror game.
Yeah.
Horror-ish. It has scary moments, so yeah. I liked Inside. Alan Wake. I really like Alan Wake. I've beaten it a few times. You could call that a horror game. But other than that, I am just terrible. Like literally, like Alien Isolation. I attempted playing that with Alex.
I know.
On Digibaka, and there's a clip of us playing it on my channel. You
lost your crap.
I got so you don't see me losing my cool on the clip on this channel, the Multimedia Club channel. Mm-hmm. But I cannot handle it. That game got me so stressed out. So did Soma when we played Soma on Digibaka.
Did it that much?
Soma, I was like, oh no. Soma's so stressful,
even with
man.
Paige and Becca there?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
I was so stressful.
It is stressful, but...
Oh, gosh. I wasn't even playing. I was just watching.
That's funny.
I was just like, oh, man. It's crazy.
Oh, goodness sakes. Yeah, no, I really want to get back to recording sometime, or at least doing, like, Twitch or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And, I'd love to get into doing some more horror stuff with you, because I absolutely love horror games. I've grown this massive appreciation for them. Mm-hmm. And I love the fact that Colin can't handle them.
I can't handle it, man. I love horror movies somewhat. You know this about me, but like horror games, it's the fact that I'm like controlling the character. It really gives me anxiety.
It's just too real.
Yeah.
You get too sucked in.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I get that. It's fun though, when we played Daylight.
Oh yeah.
God, that was a lot of fun.
That was fun. Daylight isn't that traumatic. It's just kind of like it's like the It of horror games where it's like
jump scare. Jump scare. Jump scare.
Where it's just like it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's not that terrifying.
Oh, and then we got my Super Saiyan scream.
Yeah, that clip's also on this channel.
I love that. It was so good. Chris is like, that's going to be blackmail. And I'm like, I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
I literally screamed that witch out of existence. Are you kidding me? Get out of my house.
Yeah. Oh, man. This just turned into reminiscing about Digibaka.
It did.
Fun times.
It is. It's fun times.
Yeah.
But no, Resident Evil 7 is good. If you haven't already seen it been played, or you haven't played it yourself, going into it blind is what I would suggest. It's a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If you already have seen it...
No,
oh, Charles. I'm not done talking. Charles.
This is a guest appearance by Charlie.
Charles, it's okay.
Charlie, what are you barking at?
Okay, you go take care of Charles. I'll talk about Resident Evil.
Yeah.
So, Resident Evil is good.
Not even anybody out here.
If you already have seen people play it, like Markiplier or any of the YouTubes, you've gotten the majority of the experience. It's not gonna change all that much. The biggest thing is if you want to experience it, and I definitely did. Oh no, Colin. You said
you took care of Charlie.
You said you were gonna put that away.
Oh, that sounds really bad.
Oh no! Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
No, continue talking about.
Don't do it, Colin.
Continue talking about Resident Evil.
Colin. Oh, good. Anyway, I beat it. I still got all the like oh wow, all the DLC stuff to do. Excited about that.
Yeah. Maybe I'll play it eventually. I don't know. I mean, I like I said, I do not do well horror games.
I do want, if we do get into recording, I'd like to do a duo of us playing the Resident Evil games from 4 on up.
Oh, so the bad ones.
4 is good.
Yeah, but
5 and 6.
Yeah,
and then 7. And then
so 2 bad ones, 2 good ones.
Yeah, and then eventually go back to like the first one because we both have the remaster to that.
Yeah,
which is supposed to be really good, and I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I've played a little bit of it. It's okay.
Yeah,
definitely really dated. with the gameplay mechanics and controls.
Understandably. I mean, you can only upgrade the graphics so much, and then actually what's happening in-game is kind of tough to recreate without ruining that kind of nostalgic, status. Right. So, understandably. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'd really like to go through those games.
What is any other games you wanted to talk about?
That's about all I've been doing.
Sweet.
Actually, wait. Shout out to Alheiron. You talked about Naruto Rise of a Ninja or Rise of the Ninja. That game was my childhood, my dude. That was awesome. I hadn't thought about that game in ages, and you're just like, yeah, no, I just played it. And I'm just like, what? Nobody's playing that game anymore. But you are. So I'm impressed. I'm proud of you. It's a good time. Anything else you'd like to say, Colin?
Not really.
No.
I got this acoustic bass a couple years back, and I really like it.
Yeah.
It's really cheap though. Look at it. Yeah.
I've actually been looking for one kind of like it because my electric one I can't always just whip out.
Oh, I was gonna bust out like a freeform funk bass line, but I don't have one prepared, which I guess means that I need to improvise.
It wouldn't be freeform.
Yeah. Can you just rap a bar over that?
Oh Lord! I'm just trying to think of something, and it's just nothing. It's good.
I am really bad at funk. Fun fact. I love playing it, but I'm really bad at it. Like getting the, getting a riff and like sticking with it. I'm really awful at it. So, this has been a fun episode.
It's been alright. Except for this part. And that beginning part.
Yeah.
And all the parts in between.
Yeah.
No, it was good. I had a good time.
Well, okay, so all in all, you get with A24 Quest, you get 3 hours worth of content today. So that's nice.
Cool. How long did this one go for? Part 2?
Just over an hour.
Just over an hour?
Yeah.
Nice.
And A24 Quest was 30 minutes, then it was an hour and a half for the first part of this, and an hour for this. So
sweet beans.
3 hours.
Cool.
Well, I guess now's as good time as any to shut it out. Now,
send us some emails,
Yeah.
We got one from Alheiron. It was good. We're now forced to watch Boss Baby. Which is good, I guess. Oh, we're doing that.
Yeah.
Next week.
Sing along. Do you know "Ramble On" by Led Zeppelin?
Ramble on! Sing my song! Ramble on! I don't remember how it goes exactly. That's about it.
I don't remember. I remember the bass line for the "Ramble On" part.
Okay.
Anyway.
That's that one, right?
I think so. I think that's pretty much every Led Zeppelin song. So
it was pretty good though, wasn't it? I thought I did a good job.
Do you know "Good Times, Bad Times" by Led Zeppelin?
I've had my share. Oh, what is it? Oh, when I was like 17, a woman did something. She ruined my life. I was sad for a while. Lord of the Rings is neat.
Okay, we should probably stop before the neighbors question it.
Send us emails, multimediaclubclass@gmail.com. We had a great time. I hope you did as well. This podcast is unraveling, and that's okay. We will see you in, hopefully, next week, the next one, where we will be talking about Revenge of the Green Dragon and the other one Colin said in the A24 quest, and hopefully some other stuff. Moonlight, that's right. And Personal Shopper, hopefully, and Boss Baby.
Yeah.
We will catch you in the next one. Hopefully without any bass accompaniment. Hopefully.
Tell you
hopefully
what,
my nose won't be quite as stuffed.
I will not play the acoustic bass on the next episode. I'll bring the amp in here and I'll play the electric fretless, actually.
Turns out we're actually going to be doing the podcast at my house without Colin.
All right, sounds good. So this has been the worst episode.
That's okay.
But that's okay, because at least you have the decent episode for today. So, see you around.
I still had a good time. Bye.
I didn't.
Oh.